Okay guys, I'm gonna flip this sideways, I think that's better. Anyways, good morning. I am sitting here in Manila in my office. I am a traveler. I am an photographer. I am an NGO advocate. We have several NGOs here in the Philippines. But today I wanted to just talk about some of my favorite places that I've visited in Turkey and Morocco and Italy. Anybody online here who's ever been to any of these places? Morocco, Italy, Turkey? Just see if there's anyone on here. Welcome guys. Just gonna give a little travel talk about some of my favorite places in the 3 countries that I mentioned, Turkey, Morocco, and Italy. I think I'll start first. I might have been to, oh, there's Henry. How's it going, Henry? I'm like, who's this? Who knows my name? Only a day away, it's Henry. Yes, I think you've been to 1 or 2. Okay, so first I'm gonna talk about Turkey. Actually, the first time I was in Turkey was in 2011. I was commissioned to go over for Lonely Planet magazine, and we did the cover and the feature article there. And it was 8 days, 7 different hotels, 3 flights. It was crazy, but I was so enamored with the country and the culture, the Turkish culture. Hoping we can go to Turkey. Yeah, seriously, you and Charlene, Henry, will totally love Turkey. The people are so warm. The culture there is so rich in history, and there are so many, like, how do I even explain it? It's one of my favorite countries. In fact, I think one day my husband and I, once our kids are graduated, which the last one will graduate in 5 years, oh my gosh, we're gonna move there just because it's just such an amazing country. But all the UNESCO World Heritage Sites, all of the preserved villages that are still, I've never been to Brazil, but I had a homestay student person before who was from Brazil, and I've always wanted to try and figure out where she is, so maybe one day I'll go there and try and find her. But yeah, the country is so huge geographically. Palo Alto, ¿cómo está? And you can never see it all. So I've been back 4 times and still seeing so many different amazing things. But 2 places in Turkey that are my absolute favorite. One actually is Istanbul. The city is so vibrant and so alive, and there's so much history there. Hey, California. And my goodness, everything from museums to buildings and mosques and palaces. The Spice Bazaar actually is my favorite place to go to. Even more so than the Grand Bazaar, actually. I think because it's where the locals go, and I'm fully all about where the locals go. I try to stay away from the touristy places typically, although, I mean, you want to see the Blue Mosque, you want to see Hagia Sophia. They're absolutely incredible, incredible. How do I afford all this travel? Well, I don't travel every weekend, unfortunately. But you just, I'm gonna do a little talk about that in probably a couple weeks on how do you travel. So keep that question. I'm a walking encyclopedia. I wish. Although my brain is not so good at remembering things these days. Turkey is amazing. I actually am learning Turkish just because I also, when I go to countries, I like to learn a few phrases just because being a photographer, as soon as you bring out a camera, people are like, oh, there's a camera. Yes, I live in the Philippines in Manila. And so I find that if you throw out a couple of phrases in the local language, it kind of brings people's guards down a little, and they see, oh, they're trying to be a part of a conversation with me. In fact, the last time I was in Turkey, how's Turkey in April, May? Perfect. I would recommend, yeah, 2 weeks 2 weeks is good. 2 weeks is good. April, May is good. It's not high season yet, so you don't get massive tourists. It's not too hot. Yeah, I definitely can give you tons of recommendations. But this one time, I thought, okay, I'm learning my Turkish. I'm gonna like just throw a little Turkish out there for this vendor. So I said a couple things, and then he totally went off and just like started rambling off to me. I'm like, no, I only know that phrase. Oh, he was laughing so much, but it totally just brought all the guards down. And so then in my limited Turkish and mostly sign language of, here's my camera, asking him, can I take your picture? They're totally game. They're totally game. Istanbul. Istanbul has so much to see. I always stay in Airbnbs because you're there in the heart of where people live. There's a place that I actually go to all the time now. I always see if she's available, just because it's in an awesome location. I love Turkey. You have no idea. Actually, one of my tattoos here is Turkish, Iznik flowers. That's how much I love it. So yeah, there's a market around the corner from this place. It doesn't bother me, Islamic State. Lots of people ask me, oh, are you sure you want to travel? You know what? We are all one in the world, and if we can't love each other for that, good grief. Good grief. Don't even get me started on that soapbox. Anyways, so this place that I stay, this Airbnb, there's a little market around the corner, and the cute little man always helps me, always knows what I want every morning. I go and get my cheese, I get my fresh bread, and it's walking distance to the, see you, Henry, nice to talk to you. It's walking distance to the train, to Taksim Square, so you get to see and just be totally involved in so much of local culture there. Another place I love in Turkey is in Çanakkale, which is, I'm from Canada, which is in Assos. It's kind of right along the Aegean Sea, just north of the Greek island Lesbos. It's a small little town, and it's got, on the hill, it's got the old ancient city, but the coastal town of Assos, oh my word, I could stay there probably forever. It's very small. The fishermen are there, just really chill, really, really chill. It's so nice. My connection is bad. It possibly could be bad. I live in the Philippines, and we, I think, have the worst internet in the world. Sorry about that. And so, yeah, Turkey, those are my two favorite, probably top favorites, although I can't really say favorite just because I have so many favorites. Morocco. I went for my first time to Morocco this year. It was never on my radar. And I had a guest from a previous tour say to me, oh, would you ever do a tour in, or not a tour, but a travel experience in Morocco? I said, sure. So I found a company that I work with there and went, and had zero expectations going there. And it was freaking incredible. Talk about colorful culture, colorful people, colorful everything. And two of my favorite places one was in the Rif Mountains in Chefchaouen. It's called the Blue City, and the entire buildings in the city are painted blue. I've got some photos on my blog, followyourhearttours.com, of Chefchaouen. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. The old Medina, the shopkeepers, watching people, it's a breath of fresh air, literally and figuratively. Another place in Morocco that I absolutely adored was the Sahara Desert. We went down to Merzouga, and we did an overnight trip into the desert. There is something about sitting on a camel, going into the desert where there's nobody, no electricity, no nothing, and it's just you, the horizon, the sand dunes, the camel. It's like the most serene, peaceful place I've ever been. My heart totally just fell in love with the Sahara there. Someone asked me a bit ago why we're in the Philippines. My husband's family, he's also Canadian, they moved here, gosh, 30 years ago, and they have a children's home for orphans. And so we came back a second time 4 years ago, and we live here, and we have a couple of we have a livelihood foundation, and then a photography foundation also here. So this is home right now, at least for the next 4 years, because our kids will be done school in 4 years, so that's cool. The last place, Italy. First time I was in Italy was in 2010, and no, that's not true. The first time I was in Italy was 2008. That was the first time. And again, one of those places I had no desire to go to. I don't know, I just was like, oh yeah, I want to go to Greece, I want to go here, I want to go here. But I had a friend getting married in Germany, and she asked me to shoot her wedding, and so I brought my other friend with me as my assistant, aka we're gonna go play and travel after. And she said, oh, we need to go to Venice. And I thought, I don't know, I think it's kind of touristy, and I don't know. But I thought, okay, you know, I'm up for anything. So we went, and my heart actually lives in various places in the world, but a part of my heart connected with the magical part of Venice that, aside from the normal route that the tourists take, again, I am all about seeing some of the sights and stuff, but get me off the beaten track. I want to see where the locals sit and eat. I want to see where the locals go for coffee. I want to see where the locals shop. I want to be where the locals are. So the first time I was in Italy, I was totally, my heart just was there. And so then I went back in 2010 with a group. I took a small group there, and we went all through Umbria and Tuscany, and I fell in love with Cortona, which it's a small medieval town, and oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. There are different places in the world that my heart connects with on a really super deep level, and the places that I've mentioned today, like the Sahara in Morocco, Assos in Turkey, and now Cortona in Italy. It's like my heart just connects there, and it's a place where I could go and visit over and over and over and totally be content and totally never get sick of, and just be. So yeah, those are just a few of my favorite places to visit. On the horizon, I don't know, I've got a family who's just inquiring about going to New Zealand after Christmas and wanting me to plan their trip. Whether or not I'm just going to plan their trip or go and host them and take them around there, I'm not sure. So again, New Zealand has never been on my radar. But if it comes to be that I actually go with them, that would be kind of cool. South Island is where they're planning to go, so that's cool. But after that, next year we've got tons of itineraries available for the small group travel, and then also for the road trips, which are a little more adventurous and a little more fun and a little more rugged, I think you could say. So yeah, check it out on followyourhearttours.com. And yeah, tune back next week. I'm going to talk about more about why I like Airbnbs, and then either next week or the week after, I will also talk about how do I travel? How can you travel? Does it have to cost so much money? No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to cost so much money. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and I hope that you'll come back again. Ciao!